You are listening to Single Smart Female
This is Jen,
and Jen,
letting it all hang out for your love life.
examining your dating experiences and answering your hot topic dating questions.
Just you and us, Jen squared. No topic is off limits and no filters involved.
We are here to help you do dating on your terms.
If you have a question you would like us to answer or would like to immediately upgrade your love life with our collection of classes and exclusive merchandise, meet us over now at singlesmartfemale.com. Hey there, Single Smart Female. It is Jen, your romantic fairy godmama, coming to you today with a Single Smart Female listener question. Miss Lost in LA writes, Dear Jen, I was dating a wonderful man for about 2 months. I truly don't remember ever being this excited about a man after a first date, which is not like me. I'm generally not that open. And this is going to get some groans, I am sure, but he was actually the first person I met on a dating app. Eek! We hit it off. Text every day, made plans to see each other, but would really only have time to see each other a couple hours for dinner once a week or so because he had a terrible work schedule. My red flag, which I didn't address because I thought we were still in an elementary dating phase, was that we never talked on the phone, but when we were together, the conversation flowed and we truly got along extremely well. I felt a shift the last time that we hung out. We both had a wall up, and I knew I had to see where we stood with each other at some point. Well, a few days later, I got the message that there was something missing to get to the next level, which I would understand, except I truly don't feel that this is completely correct. We ended up meeting and having the best conversation after this. He admitted that he was closed off a lot, previously really hurt through a divorce, and that he truly cared about me and was aware how well we got along and that he did want to get there with me. Yet after a couple more days, he was still thinking there was a spark or something missing to get to the next level. And now I can't stop thinking about him. I did reactivate the dating app. Not that I have any interest in going out on dates at the moment, but more so that I need to rebuild my confidence. I know I have a lot to offer. He knows I have a lot to offer, and I know he has a lot to offer. We both obviously care about each other, and I feel frustrated we haven't given each other the opportunity to get to know one another. I have no interest in trying to convince someone to be with me, but I need some fairy godmama advice. Do I walk away from something my heart and head feels so strongly about, or do I try to continue some sort of friendship when my heart is ready and see where things go without any pressure? I am confident the universe will guide me. I started binge listening to your podcast the day this happened, and I trust your open and honest opinion. Well, thank you. Okay, so let's dig into this. So I want to start, now there's several different places I'd like to start at the same time, but since that is not possible, I'm going to start with the fact that you didn't say this exactly in here, but my guess is that you reached out to him after you felt that shift. And when you said, I knew I had to see where we stood with each other. And you asked him what was wrong when, you had a look, things changed just slightly. And it could have been just that he was having an off day. What happens when we do this as women? What happens when we automatically assume if a guy, say his communication pattern changes, he goes MIA for a couple days or something, we freak the fuck out and then we have to question him so that he can tell us everything is okay. And then, of course, everything in our heart starts to fall apart if it doesn't. But what we're really doing, instead of just taking a break, just taking a pause ourselves and focusing on the things that are important in our life, is that we don't give him the space to just, tend to whatever is going on in his life and turn and come to you. So I'm not quite sure that maybe his feelings, because we can actually inspire feelings of, I'm not quite sure what's wrong, by reaching out to him and asking him what's wrong. We can actually inspire those feelings of doubt in somebody. The more confident we are in our ability to date, the more confident somebody else is in how much fun they have with us. So ladies, you don't have to reach out and ask and try to get, your finger on the pulse of the situation so that you can anticipate every single thing that is about to happen. It is okay to take a step back and let him do him, okay? Because a lot of times, again, when we're pressing on something, we can create an idea. He might have actually, you never know, he might have actually just been feeling, taking a deep breath and digesting all the good things that have been happening with him. But when we disrupt that digestion process, we can create a scenario of doubt in his head. The doubt that it's a nard. It's almost like we're transmitting it straight to them. So I'm going to suggest, ladies, stop reaching out, stop doing that to try to assess what's wrong all the time, okay? Now, next, the other thing I want to tell you, let's say you don't do that in the future and somebody comes and tells you anyway they don't feel that there's a spark, the same spark that you thought was there and that you feel like there's something missing to go to the next level. It is perfectly okay to disagree with them verbally in that moment. It's okay to say, oh, really? I actually thought we had a great spark and I was really excited to continue to get to know you. It's okay to disagree with his assessments of things. By the way, let's go back. Let's rewind for just a second. You said your red flag, which I did not address because you were still in the elementary phase, was that we never talked on the phone. That wasn't a red flag. That definitely is not a red flag. And I think a lot of times we as women make things red flags that really aren't. And then things that are red flags, we overlook. But that was not a red flag. Everything was fine. And as I discussed in other podcasts, the way that you communicate with somebody when you're first getting to meet them, it's based on who you really are. If you like to talk on the phone, then you can let him know and say, hey, I'm not much of a texter. Why don't you call me on this day at this time? And so I can hear your voice. It's really, truly simple, but just because that's not his go-to doesn't mean it's a red flag. Okay, so going back to, again, it is perfectly okay to disagree with somebody's assessment. Yes, this is a much bolder move, but many women will be a lot happier in life if they learn how to do this. A lot of times we think, well, if we disagree with him, that's going to make him dislike us more. And then the other thing is that we also get caught in our ego and, oh my God, I can't disagree with him on something like that because then that makes me look needy or whatever. No, you saying to him, really? Oh, wow, I didn't realize. I actually thought we do have a great spark. So, and then continuing the conversation and you tell him, I'm legitimately interested in us continuing to date. I understand if that's not where you're at right now. But if you change your mind, let me know because I'd love to keep seeing you and getting to know you. That is a superpower right there. Super phrase. Being able to honor where somebody is at and learning how to honor where you're at the same time is something most women have no clue how to do. All right? There is nothing sexier or more powerful than a woman who knows how to do that and stand in who she is without being a complete and total bitch. Now, sometimes situations merit being a bitch. Most situations do not, but it's incredibly powerful. And it reminds me of the time that my husband said something stupid. Hey, I just thought about this. Actually, I had pressed him. This was the first time he had canceled another date, and I pressed him on it. And he got flustered and didn't know exactly what was going on. And he said, this is why I don't do serious relationships. And this, again, during the dating phase. And something, steamed up inside of me because I had not asked him for a relationship. And I was pissed that he even assumed I wanted one because I'd never said that whatsoever. I just asked why he was canceling the date. And the next conversation that we ended up having, I told him basically that and ladies, you don't have to go out and use this exact phrase because this exact phrase is not necessarily going to work for you. I'm illustrating the point of honoring who he was and where I was at the same time is what I'm illustrating here. But I said to him, as we continue to spend time together, you cannot expect me to not develop feelings for you. Okay. And I said that I totally respect that you don't want a serious relationship right now, but please do not expect me to walk on eggshells around you pretending that I don't like you. And that floored him in that moment. he came at me and pressed his lips against me, and we were actually in his bedroom at that time, and he pressed me down. That excited him so much, just that whole rawness of just being who I was and not backing down, but doing it in a calm and powerful way. And again, illustrating about honoring me and honoring him. It's very, very sexy place to live from. So let's move on from that. Again, okay to disagree, can be very sexy if you do it in the right way. Next, this whole I cannot stop thinking about him. Okay. I want to talk about this phrase because this is such a prevalent phrase that we use as women. I cannot stop thinking about him, to assume that we have feelings for somebody. And I've been thinking about this for a while, and I want every woman to hear me. This phrase comes to your head. This is what we say. I cannot stop thinking about him. This does not mean that you have deep feelings for him or that you are in love with him. We mistake this repetitive thought process for genuine connection, and we do it often. So I want you to think about this. Has anyone ever made you really angry? And it could be a man or a woman, and you go over the situation in your head on repeat. On repeat. On repeat. Okay? Yes, I'm sure it has happened to you. And it doesn't even have to be anger. It can be another really strong emotion. And you go over that and you think about that person in that situation over and over again. It's because you have been, part of your insecurities have been triggered. So this, I cannot stop thinking about him, starts happening significantly when we haven't developed the true connection. And where our insecurities are being pressed because there are other things that we're neglecting in our life. And we go into this mental state of torturing ourselves and thinking about them over and over and over again. And then we just claim it's because we have such deep feelings for them. It's a bunch of bullshit that we tell ourselves. And we let other women think this too. And we're setting ourselves up for hyperfocus. And if you learn anything on this podcast, hopefully you'll learn quite a bit, but hyperfocus is almost exclusively the death of a relationship before it starts. Okay? So I want you to take a couple steps back. Forgive yourself for going into this pattern because it's so very, very common. And I want you to understand right now that yes, you may very well like him, but the reason that you're incessantly thinking about him is because he's pressed on your insecurities. And going forward, this is something that you can work out, but you're going to actually have to commit to the process of Mantourage dating, okay? Not half-ass Mantourage dating, not, opening up the app. I mean, that's a good first step, but just opening up the app and just pretending like you're Mantourage dating because Jen says I need to Mantourage date. So here the app's open. Unfortunately, I can't find anybody I really like. That's half-ass Mantourage dating where you're lying to yourself constantly. And then women, not you necessarily, but women try to come convince me that it's because they're so in love with this other person that they just can't. There's no way that they can date anybody else because nobody will ever measure up. All a whole bunch of lies and bullshit that we torture ourselves with when we don't have to. So now it's time to start to develop your Mantourage. It's time to, dip your entire foot, your leg, your entire body into the world of online dating and having some fun with that and going out with different men. It doesn't have to be incessant dating. It can be quality over quantity. All right. You need several guys, I would say at least 3, that you're genuinely interested in getting to know so that you don't have to go crazy during this process. And you don't have to reach out to men and ask them, is everything okay? And assume that it's something about your connection. He'll come to you and he'll let you know. And sometimes it's just a little glitch in the programming and we can move through it and it's perfectly fine. But the reason that we can't do that is because we do this old, outdated pattern of dating that one man and hinging all of our hopes and dreams and wishes because it was a really good connection on him and not giving ourselves a real opportunity to explore our romantic outcomes. If it's not working out with a specific man, it's because it's not supposed to right now. So why torture yourself? If he's going to end up being the guy, he'll come back around, especially as you're man-entourage dating, because a switch will flip. Guys have a crazy radar, especially when you're having a great time with other men, and a switch will flip, and guys cycle back around all the time. Let him be glitchy right now. My husband was glitchy. He was glitchy for several months, and that was fine. It is okay to let them be glitchy as long as they're treating you with respect when you are together and spending time with each other. Try not to overanalyze this anymore. The only analysis you need to do right now is self-analysis about what you're neglecting in your own love life by hinging all your hopes and dreams and wishes and prayers and finger crosses on this guy. Okay? So take a deep breath and really start to understand that there's something much bigger at play here. Now, the last part of this that I want to discuss is that you're not allowed to accept, and this is for you and every woman, accept a friendship with somebody that you really like just so that you can spend time with them in hopes that they might at some point become, maybe friends with benefits, lovers, and then he might just pick you someday. Yes, I know why we do this, but it's a really bad plan. If he says, well, can we just be friends? Tell him, I don't think I can be friends with you. I really like you, and I would love to continue get to know you on a romantic level, even without being in an exclusive relationship. But just as friends, no, I'm not there yet. And that's okay to say. And you can tell him, I said, but would it be cool if I feel differently in the future if I reach out to you about it? Because you might very well, especially once you put your man-entourage together, want to reach out to him and say, hey, that friendship card you offered me before? Is it still valid? And then see where things goes as a friendship, because you do want to take him at face value at this point, especially if friendship is what he is offering, putting on the table. Because what we definitely don't want to do as women is accept a friends with benefits relationship that we know is going to torture us in some way. Okay, Lover Girl, it's time for the final thought on today's show. We often mistake incessant thoughts about him as true desire for him, when in reality, he has triggered an insecurity in us. The answer to recalibrate into an adored woman mindset is through man-entourage dating. And you can learn the process of man-entourage dating with my 3-day free class at mantouragedating.com.
Hey Lover Girl, this is Jen again. Don't forget to subscribe to the show in your favorite podcast app, as well as share Single Smart Female with all of your single smart girlfriends. And if you would like to play around and learn more about man-entourage dating, come see me at singlesmartfemale.com. Talk to you next time.